Show you how to be the man, how to be the boss, how to come through with 7 coats to the gloss. Show you how to be the man. Show you how to be the man. Show you how to be the man, how to be the boss, how to buy the car, how to buy the house. Show you how to be the man. Yeah, show you how to be the man. Yeah, back in 8th grade, banana bear rich. Teacher wanna tell me be realistic. That bitch try to tell me be realistic. I pull a 5 years later in a drop top 6. Got a scotch twist, cheek checking and lipstick. Might be in the movie with Barry Sanders. Might be Adam Sandler and my cup is Pink Panther. High school, I was on the news. Fist full of jewels, looks like a swimming pool. Aqua shock start, glow in the dark shark. Mark my words, I don't need acceptance. I'm catching interceptions on you innocent pedestrians. Suckers keep on flexing, I'm bringing out the rice. Jody shaking dice, watching Miami Vice. Staring through my slice, that's a given. Now I'm the man, but I'm calling like a kid and teaching how to be the man, how to be the boss, how to come through with 7 coats to the gloss. Show you how to be the man. Show you how to be the man. Show you how to be the man, how to be the boss, how to buy the car, how to buy the house. Show you how to be the man. Yeah, show you how to be the man. Yeah, packing my luck, push gets a shoving. Show Jody loving when I'm flipping candy pumpkin. Might hit the club and it's the white Danny Glover rap game. Uncle Ben pulling rice out the oven. Now Julius Caesar and Versace wife beater. We'll go on vacation, but my whole life's a weekend. Whole lot of money, all bills paid. Next payday, I'm buying 3 or 4 chains. Now I'm picture perfect. Should've been a surfer. Look who it is. It's the white Eddie Murphy. Big ballin', no stopping. Trunk steady knocking, floating through the sky. Mary Poppins. Show you how to be the man, how to be the boss, how to come through with 7 coats to the gloss. Show you how to be the man. Show you how to be the man. Show you how to be the man, how to be the boss, how to buy the car, how to buy the house. Show you how to be the man. Yeah, show you how to be the man. Show you how to be the man, how to be the boss, how to come through with 7 coats to the gloss. Show you how to be the man. Yeah, show you how to be the man. Show you how to be the man, how to be the boss, how to buy the car, how to buy the house. Show you how to be the man. Yeah, show you how to be the man.
This is David Radio broadcasting to you live from Hitsville, USA. 2 blocks away from the Motown Museum, 2 blocks away from Aretha Franklin's childhood home. Today, in our quest to dip our little grubby little Vienna sausage hands into every kind of thing that maybe radio has to offer us, this kind of format, we bring sort of a variety show. It's funny because this is it's kind of a full circle moment, because stuff that you will hear in this show led to this show being created. I just found that I enjoyed doing that stuff a lot more than editing a lot of dialogue a lot. Not dialogue, but conversations. Doesn't matter. So this is a kind of full circle kind of moment here. How's the best to do this? Let's introduce ourselves, shall we? So I am DJ David Shaman Glaudfelder, the whole thing. With me is my co-host, co-DJ, just as important DJ, DJ Dr. Mr. Lyndon. Say hello, Lyndon.
Hello.
And we'll both be with you guys in the chat, except for one of these little pieces in which I will have to speak in between because I ran out of time. Sorry. So the main draw here is going to be Rudy Johnson's interview that we recorded, I think 6 months ago, maybe almost. I don't care. It's whatever. But I also have 2 other nice little things for you. Maybe just one. We'll see. We'll see here. I wanted to have an element of surprise, but as you see, I just revealed it. So I guess we'll have 2 things, or we'll have one thing, and maybe one thing there's not. Don't even think about it. But first, I think best lead off this this thing that kind of started this whole process. Rudy and I working together. I'd say Rudy doing most of the heavy lifting. on this response pod kind of reading series called Mindful Self-Indulgence. And the idea is that the artists could just do what they wanted and not feel ashamed or burdened because the people who are going to be listening to it are interested in what they have to say about these things. Or however they would like to present their reading. And the first one went really good. And I'm going to just play that first. So, hello loyalists. Thank you here. And here we go. Welcome to Mindful Self-Indulgence, a response pod reading series, or an audio mag, or maybe just a curated open mic. It is a place for writers. We like to unselfconsciously indulge in this electronic social media age. What that is up to them. Do they just want to read? Do they want to explain a story? Do they want to do something more involved? Whatever. And this is the first episode, and this counts as an episode of the pod for anyone badgering me about it being late. We have Rudy Johnson. He's mostly known for doing poetry, and he has a book from Pig Roast called Kill Rudy Johnson. I asked Rudy to read this story specifically, and when I first read it, it was so close, I thought, to something. Maybe it led me to be overly harsh, but I still remembered it. And isn't that very important, I guess? But hearing him read it, and it clicked. It's really upsetting. So beware, I guess. I don't know. So the story is just like you imagined, and it's out on Apocalypse Confidential. You should go read it. You should listen to this maybe first. I don't know. It was really intense to listen to over and over again. But enjoy. Thank you.
Ellen Klebold and Merrick Harris shoot up their school most nights. They have a meticulous recreation of it on the dot grid, mostly built by Ellen. The hallways, the classrooms, the soon-to-be victims of their teen angst. Well, nearly teen. Merrick is only 11 or 12, while Ellen is, how old? 16? Anyway, the gang's all here. Gang. Nighttime in the VR interface of the dot grid is a dress rehearsal for violence. Dress rehearsal. That sounds gay. Too old fag. Ellen hates dresses even though she's a girl in the VR. Behind the wearables, who knows? Who cares? Pants rehearsal. Trench coat rehearsal. Ellen is the ringleader and knows all the moves. Merrick is low IQ or ADHD or autism spectrum or something. The other kids at school call him retard. But like the people in that cult VHS hit called The ABC of Sex Education for Trainables, Merrick can learn a routine pretty good. The routine is
finger twirl gesture to start the music. That Nine Inch Nails song from the slow-mo homo action movie about the Greek pederasts. Reach downward and make the Remington shotguns appear. Cock and motion. Pump that shit. Blast. Front door open. Glass shatters. Unload on the janitor. Unload on the trans woman gym teacher who's tossing a penny into the campus wishing well. John Money Shot. Pump that shit. Move down the hallway. Always strafing. Dome Jimmy. Weapon swap. Pistol whip out the black girl with Berettas until she doesn't move anymore. Blow up Susie's head like in Scanners.
Neither of these kids has seen Scanners.
Then it's a race up a flight of stairs to the second floor. Art department. Put both barrels to the stomach of cantankerous Mrs. Roth. You're gonna die, cunt! Trigger warning. Spray her guts across a canvas to her rear. Gall, stones, and everything. Maroon over red. Intensely personal. Art captured in repetition. Rothko. Then it's to the library. Jock with his nose in a geometry book gets his trapezoids destroyed by several rounds. Pause for necking. Banter. What if we kissed at the intersection of wrath and natural selection? Random fire. Shoot everyone who's anything.
Ellen and Merrick shoot themselves, then lie on the floor, real still, for ages. Finally, synchronized Chris Benoit gestures kill the party. Really? Quit? Says the grid bot.
I'm not gonna tell you twice, bot fucker!
Slurs Merrick. The one with the wrath shirt.
Yes, quit.
Says Ellen. Less and more explicitly for selective electronic ears. Quitting. Some Wednesday. Merrick asks Ellen if they're going to the Tri-State Gun Show today.
Tomorrow.
Tomorrow comes. Trigun comes on and stays on. Some Monday. 0 day.
Your dad leave the car?
Merrick wonders.
Yeah, I think so.
Ellen kind of confirms. Trench coat rehearsal.
Remember,
Ellen doms as the world collapses around them.
the routine is finger twirl, shotguns, pump that shit,
And Merrick is going through the motions with her perfectly.
blast the glass, unload, bang, unload, pump it, move down the hallway, strafe, dome Jimmy, weapon swap, pistol whip Althea, blow up Susie's head, second floor, art department, Mrs. Roth, it's all paint job, library, jock, several rounds, stop, I fucking love you, shoot everyone who's anything, we die in each other's arms like this.
Ellen hugs Merrick and squeezes tight, and a little low. Then does the Benoit throat slit. Really? Quit? Says the gridbot.
Let's do this!
Says Ellen, the one with the natural selection shirt. The drive to the school is uneventful. Outside is plasticine, pixel junk, barely there. 50% render scale, TBH.
Look at all of them!
Merrick says through gritted teeth.
Huh?
Asks Ellen.
It's like AI made them. Barely fucking human.
Fucking right.
Ellen goes to fist bump Merrick, but he barely returns it. She says,
We're gonna have lots of fun.
Merrick shoots her a glance. 100% serious face, TBCH. His sick is New York cabbie, not California skater.
We're gonna fucking kill him!
He grumbles, slurring the last words and spitting foam. They walk through Toro fog towards the school. Everything is just so. Merrick's face brightens as he twirls to start the music. The drop cascades into a dopamine rush. The routine is reach downward and make the Remington shotguns appear. Cocking motion. Pump that shit.
Blast front door open, glass shatters. Unload on the janitor.
Unload on the trans woman gym teacher who's tossing a penny into the campus wishing well. John, money shot. Pump that shit.
Move down the hallway. Always strafing. Dome Jimmy. Weapon swap. Pistol whip Althea, the black girl, with Berettas until she doesn't move anymore. Blow up Susie's head like in Scanners. And no, they still haven't seen anything but shitty ass anime. Probably. LMAO.
Then it's a race up a flight of stairs to the second floor. Art department.
Put both barrels to the stomach of cantankerous Mrs. Roth. You're gonna die, cunt. Trigger warning.
Spray her guts across a canvas to her rear. Gall, stones, and everything. Maroon over red. Intensely personal. Art captured in repetition. Rothko.
Then it's to the library. Jock with his nose in a geometry book gets his trapezoids destroyed by several rounds.
Pause for necking. Banter. What if we kissed at the intersection of wrath and natural selection?
Random fire.
Shoot everyone who's anything.
Ellen and Merrick shoot themselves, then lie on the floor. Real still. For ages.
woman is likely not to be better than she ought to be. So when I stray away from where I got to be, someone always takes me home. A lady never sure habituates the looms, and that is where I find myself on many afternoons. But just as I begin to blow away the foam, someone tips his hat to me and takes me home. People say a roving woman is likely not to be better than she ought to be. So when I stray away from where I got to be, someone always takes me home. Now poker is a game a lady shouldn't play, and every floating poker game just seems to float my way. But long before I've lost a thing besides my comb, someone tips his hand to me and takes me home.
Well, eagle-eared loyalists, that's what we call our fans, loyalists, will remember that song, that Connie Converse song, in a much different context in, I think, our first recorded episode, Wartime for a Pimp, in which that song is a horrifying introduction to something real bad that happens, bro. Although that was not much better. But you can kind of see the seeds being planted. You know, what can you do with context, I think, is the most important thing, context. So that was our first little episode, and we have, of course, our interview that was supposed to come out after that episode, but, you know, my life fell apart again, because I'm really bad at keeping it all together, often. But, you know, that's just what happens sometimes. You know, things take you off guard. Things take you by surprise. Things just jump. I can't believe this is my segue. Just jump upon me.
Bomb has been planted. The bomb is ticking down. Terrorists win.
Okay, no more horsing around. So, we have the second episode of Mindful Self-Indulgence. I thought it would be, it started with a fun idea, or like a joke, like most things happen. But I think it turned out okay. It's a little, this isn't the final thing, but I thought I'd jump it upon you guys, because I already have a captive audience. And so this is between Mr. Well, I'll just start it. I'm gonna be talking through it anyway, so I'll be stopping it and talking anyway. So, let's pretend that's not the case. I guess. Here we go. Episode 2 of Mindful Self-Indulgence.
I've been described as good. Some have even said great. What have I done to deserve such a fate? It just seems to be quite an easy bet. Those we adore just haven't spilled their secrets yet. I never steal, I never fight. My anger's locked off.
A very, very dear, close friend of mine who is maybe one of the greatest poets that I know. He doesn't like all of you, so he won't share his work. Also depressed, you know, as it goes. My beautiful friend Will, my beautiful baby Will, and he once said to me, he's obviously much smarter than me, he knows all the poetry words. Can you believe that? He knows all of them. He can just throw them out there. Pentameter, but all the, you know, he knows that shit. But he once said to me that a good poem should be like a classic joke. It should be like a joke or a stand-up routine, sort of. That you have your hook, you have your setup, you know what I mean? You catch them, and then you lead them a little bit, and then you have a punchline, you know what I mean? And if you watch great comedy, there's several punchlines or micro punchlines in between there. Maybe they go off track, and I think that's a great way to think of it. You want that gut punch. That's the reaction. That's not the only way to do poetry, and obviously poetry is just this term, I think, that we use to slot in whatever's not short story length, right? It's just whatever, and whatever not lyrics. That's maybe dismissive. Who cares? I'm a poet now. I've been published as a poet. Spectre. I paid the $8. I got in there, baby. But so we have two poems here that are jokes. They're jokes. Different kinds of jokes. Jokes told very differently by two different comedians. And I don't think that's insulting to call either one of these guys comedians. And I mean that in the best way. I'd like to think of myself as somewhat of a comic, baby. But so there's these two poems for whatever, and there's this half-life now of all this stuff, which I'll get into later when we get to the second half. It's Theo Thimbo, my dear friend Theo Thimbo, and my dear Taylor Napolsky. And there was a Substack by another great friend of ours. This is all four of us, close friends, believe it or not. By Alexandra. I don't know how to say your last name, so I'm not going to do it. But she had a great Substack article that some people got upset about, comparing these two poems, saying they were in conversation with each other. And here's the thing with criticism, even if that's, I would say that was a criticism of two poems and comparing them and talking about the flaws and the good things in them. But the thing with criticism is it's a lens, you know what I mean? It's just a lens that you flit on and off. You know what I mean? Just like reading something feministly, in whatever way. So that's one lens. But people got very, very upset for all kinds of reasons. And that is, it was quite the spectacle. That's how this stuff goes. But it's all lenses, man. And I think one of the things is the subject matter of both of these poems is taboo, or would be taboo, to attack the publications, to attack the readers. You know what I mean? These are seen as even low. And both poems are incredibly accusatory in different ways. But both, I think, are funny. Both are funny. And I hated both of them when I first read them, and I don't hate either of them anymore. Maybe that's sunk cost fallacy. Who knows? But let's start first with Theo Thimbo, who published Your Lit Mag Sucks. And the thing about this poem is, even though it's a way more personal poem, it is about specific things. There is no way inside of it. It is like a dying brain kind of pulling references together. Even the direct references, which I think there's one or two lines that will directly what the poem is about. It is about one thing. That even creates more distance. Even the personal brought in. And right on top of it, it's on the border of slop, of carefully constructed so. Because I hate using this word, but Theo is an absurdist, I guess. That is, and it is so funny. And you can tell during this reading that maybe he's never read it out loud, but it sort of took him off guard, the things he started to say, and and it's very funny. So let's just dig into that. There'll be Theo reading, and then a little tie-in song thing, and then we'll have Taylor's reading, and then you'll hear from me again. Oh, I wanted to say this, because this is important. I forgot to say this. Fuck. So, my big concept for this, what I decided on after I put this together was, back in like 2011, 2012, you ever on the street, and there's guys out there who are like kind of aggressively trying to make you buy their mixtape from you, their rap mixtape, for $1 or $2. And both of these poems, I think at the end of the day, kind of remind me of that guy. And here's the thing. That guy, there might be some fire on that mixtape. So let's see. Okay, there we go. Sorry.
I'm reading this fucking thing over here. I'm at some diner right now with some friends, but let me fucking read this shit. This is this is my fucking alright. We got, I don't know what this is. Oh, I think this is the wrong chat. Yo, what's up? This is Your Mag Sucks by Theo Themo. This was published on Bizarre Publishing House, alright? This is gonna be read by me. My name is Theo. So thank you for listening to my poem. Alright. Yo, what's up? This is Your Mag Sucks by Theo Themo on Bizarre Publishing House. Thank you so much, David. Yo, let's get it. Yo, Taylor, you're not ready for this. Check it out. Your Mag Sucks by Theo Themo. Your Mag Sucks. Wait, let me try again. Yo. Okay. Your Mag Sucks by Theo Themo. Yo. Okay, Your Mag Sucks. Because nobody reads your dumb website. Where all you do is publish histrionic liars who keep losing so badly they don't know what to do. And what happened to the old heads? Where's All Live 1.0 at? These new kids can't even read a short story in Spanish. They forego call to their friends. They go to school to fight girls. Bro, be submitting to Expat and Bizarre Publishing House. The scene may never recover. The consequences will never be the same. To the world, I'm sending out a major love. And this is my message to you. You done goofed. Because I backtraced it. You've just been reported to the cyber police. And that's my poem, bro. Thank you so much, everybody. Love you.
I'm Taylor Napolsky, and I'm going to read my poem, The Bar Gets Raised, published by Plague Circus Press. This is my first take, so I'm hoping to nail it first take. So when I wrote this, I mostly just thought it was cool and interesting, and of course I was pumped that Plague Circus published it. So thank you, Oliver Land, Oliver Rules. I'm really happy with how it all went, though I do think it should have gotten nominated for Best of the Net award, but that's all good, no big deal. I've been promoting it a ton online, so that's just something I like to do, is push my work, promote it, and it's been nice getting it out there, and it's been nice just seeing what people have to say about it. It's also dope that I got asked to do this. It'll be cool to see if Response Pod comes back or what. The bar gets raised. Most people like terrible poems that get published online because it kind of gives them clout to say they liked it. It's not that they're idiots, it's just that I'm way smarter and better, and also they don't understand art. Like it's more about how pretty is this girl who wrote it, or how much clout does this dude have. Okay then, I'll fawn over this weak shit and contribute to a messed up world of status and clout over everything. Okay, ITC, I'll take it further and acknowledge status and clout is legit all that matters, and art is just stupid. If you don't have status, you're stupid and low-key, high-key, a worthless person. I know that David asked Theo to read a poem too, and that is the one we published on Bizarre Publishing House, so that'll be cool if he does it. Bizarre Publishing House, or BPH, that's a website I run with my friend Bizarre Miscreant, and Bizarre Miscreant, she does a pod called Starcaster too, so we're working really hard. We do online lit forum, which is like a space on Twitter, like it's a panel. We're just doing a lot. And last thing I wanted to say, if you do see this poem that I just read, The Bar Gets Raised, if you see it on X or see it on Instagram, please read it and repost it, because like I said before, I am trying to push it and really get it out there and get it seen. And so that's why I was pumped that David asked me to do this, you know, because it's just a really good look. And that's about it. Follow this account called Napolsky Updates on X. It gives updates about me, you, and I have tons of work online, so just Google me. Okay, thanks for listening.
So, that was Taylor's poem, and I think you saw at first the idea was some kind of rap battle, because there's been so much drama about these two poems that are just kind of fun, and I think Taylor says himself that he just thought it was badass, and that's how art does, especially when I wrote or write songs. That's one of the big themes, is this sounds fucking badass, and poetry's so linked to that. One thing I'd like to say is the formatting. Well, let's go here. I've always had a tender spot for Taylor, and I followed him very closely as some sort of enigma. I did not understand him because, at once, he is so public, and also you don't know anything about him, and he's so incredibly inscrutable and hard to read. Besides, he wants you to read his poems, and we'll get into people's controversy or something about that here in a second. But hearing his voice, and this isn't a dig, but Taylor has been on many audio things, and you do not get to hear his voice nearly enough. And when I heard his voice, it just washed over me this sort of warmth, because it's a very specific kind of accent and gentleness and phrasing that I spent 10 years in Seattle. And I know, one thing I know about Taylor is he is from around those areas, or spent time there. And so that was such a nice comfort. Yeah, and it also kind of made, it kind of connected some dots for me. It's a specific kind of, especially poetry scene in about 2010, 2011 in Seattle, of this kind of promo. You know, it is openness and meant with love, and it is easy to scoff at and cringe at. And I'm not saying that's what Taylor's doing, but that was a real thing. And I can kind of, maybe that's a thread of what's with Taylor? Who knows? But one thing I'll say about the poem is, well, lots of things I'll have to say, but one thing that comes to mind is the layout. It's very specific, like a notes app layout. It's laid out like something you would read on your notes app or something you would read out on your phone, and I think that's very interesting. I think it definitely informs the piece, the playful nature, the somewhat challenging nature of the piece. I think one of the things especially that becomes clear when you hear him read it is the perspective shifting and kind of swirling, you know what I mean, to even less resolution of who is saying this and what they are saying, how many levels of not necessarily irony, you know. And there's also, this is not, I think, fair to say a joke poem because it's about something. Theo's was also about something, but this is about something broader. Theo's was about a poop bandit, more or less. We're not going to get into that. But I think with both, I'm not going to get too much into this. I will say this. I think each one of these poems had different sorts of dumb little controversies about them that underline how absurd some of these things are, and the things that they are seeming to comment on, or at least poking fun at, are. And I think Alexandra's Substack really picked up on that well. But I don't think they were written. They're not written to me in communication with each other, but they do communicate with each other. This is what I mean by lenses. And maybe that's just a not didactic, but linguistic kind of thing. But it really did get me thinking and want to read these poems, which I did not like and did not want to read. And it brought me closer to them, and also closer, I think, to the writers in a way, because it's strange, especially these two poets, because online persona is wrapped up with them. You know, for better or for worse, that's wrapped up in it. It's direct, you know what I mean? Especially with this subject matter. And I think this last bout of everybody unfamiliar with the way Taylor promotes, and whether Taylor promotes genuinely or as a joke or as both, or just to, maybe it's cynical to think that it's like a grind culture kind of thing. I don't know. I think people feel revolted by it, and they can't explain why, and that kind of just feels wrapped up in useless academia stuff. You know what I mean? It's, why is the world's changed? Why would we not? Why do you think it's distasteful to want to promote your things? You know what I mean? But then also maybe this is an Andy Kaufman kind of thing, and he's a fucking genius, because it is also very, I keep retweeting them because it makes people mad, and that's really fun to me. But I do think both pieces agree on one thing, and I think both of these writers are doing something about it. They are trying to. Theo will have a book that I'm sure will be fantastic. He hasn't sent me a copy yet for some reason. Coming out soon, and Taylor's just, you heard him, he's hustling, baby. He's, check out Napolsky Updates. That's such a baller move. What's wrong with you? You have no shame. Yeah, but they both agree that the bar is low, and they are both trying to raise it. And I agree, bar's low. Let's get on it, baby. So, thank you, Theo. Thank you, Taylor. That was legendary. I'm going to tighten it up a little bit here. For when we post the thing. I'm sorry I've been so slow. I just got blitzed. I got blitzed, bro. Everyone's a piece of the David. But thank you, guys. And I didn't want either of you to think it was going to be a joke or making fun of you. Because I don't want to... Why would I put you on blast like that unless you've wronged me? So don't wrong me. But thank you so much. I'll upload that in a bit. But here's the main attraction. Here is the main feast. A great conversation that's 6 months late. In the time between this conversation we recorded, he's written a whole other fucking book. So, it's the beautiful Rudolph Johnson. And here's him and I cutting it up. Here's our interview. I'll see you in a bit. In a while, actually. It's like an hour and a half. But, man, look, this was my off week. You know, I just did sound editing. It doesn't fucking matter. Fuck y'all. Thank you. Love you. Here we go. Rudy Johnson. Call him Rudy Johnson.
Oh, man. If you're talking about, like, as a black colloquialism, you're talking about as a black colloquialism or whatever, like, definitely shoddy. If you're talking about, like, I don't know, like a short race from an MMO circa 2001, shorty.
A shorty.
Yes, sir, yeah, because, you know, the gnomes, the halflings, the dwarves, definitely shorties. But
see, here's this thing. We're going to dive into culture war immediately. I'm going off the rails.
Okay.
So everyone's like, oh, you should have people with wheelchairs and you know, crutches I could see, but like there should be wheelchairs in these fantasy settings. But if there is magic, why would there not be like a fucking spell that's like, okay, heal your MS? You know what I mean? Why wouldn't that be there? That's why there's no wheelchairs, bro.
I agree with that, but let me actually tell you a very short anecdote from the time when I used to play on. Is a place called ISRP, which is interactive story role playing or some bullshit. It was on Wizards of the Coast. It's basically a little chat room where people could go to play characters.
Hell yeah.
So many people would not want their characters to be fucking healed of their ailments or whatever. If you did that, that's a big fucking no-no in like the role-playing whatever. In fact, it's considered like an auto-hit, like as they call it, like, you know, God moding or whatever. If you try to heal someone, you see a cripple, you're God moding if you heal them. And the reason is because they like the aesthetic of being a cripple, or, you know, I guess that's not the politically correct term, but in a fantasy setting, who gives a shit? But they like that aesthetic. So like the wheelchair, whatever, is part of the aesthetic. So that said, like, all these things like
it makes it steampunk to me, like in Wild Wild West.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yes, yeah, like the guy, the racist guy from the Confederate dude or whatever from Wild
Which
West.
he was dope. He was
cool fucking awesome, dude.
He was cool as fuck.
He was amazing. That whole aesthetic is just insane. Like,
See, I keep thinking about that movie, and I know I watched it a million times when I was younger, but I don't know if it's any good. Now, Men in Black, I know that's good.
Wild Wild West is insane, dude. It's crazy. Like, and then they had that guy with like the steampunk legs or whatever, and he was doing the kung fu, and he was like, "Yeah, I learned that from a Chinaman," or whatever. Like just some really strange, offhanded bullshit. And Will Smith was actually good in it too.
Is that the first appearance of steampunk in popular media? I want to say Metropolis, but that's not really. Does Metropolis count? I don't know. No,
I guess Metropolis, you know, kind of steampunk and loving it.
I think that time period is essential, right? Like the 1850s to 1900s, right?
Absolutely, yeah, Victorian type of.
It has to be a little bit earlier. And stupid. So much brass.
And stupid. Yes, there's a lot of brass, a lot of copper.
That's the thing. These people don't. It's like, they not know how heavy fucking brass is, dude. People wouldn't be wearing all this brass. Brass is heavy as fuck.
落ちたこの世のかけらじゃないし、地球が垂らしたクソでもないし、まさか幸せのせいだ。
Let me light a cigarette here. I've been drinking this fucking port wine, dude, and it just makes me black out. It's crazy. It's like 18%.
Holy shit. I can't drink because of my meds, but
I feel you.
if I could, I would probably drink something like that. I would probably black out all the fucking time.
God. Ugh. It tastes so nasty, but it has a bunch of sugar in it, and that's the key. I just ride one continual sugar rush all through the day.
Oh god, tell me about it. If you stop, you crash, though. That's the thing. You crash. So.
That's what they say. Oh, you're gonna crash later. It's like, no, I never stop eating fucking candy. You know what I mean? What are you talking about?
When's later?
Yeah, what are you talking about?
Oh yeah.
So one thing I realized is that since this is an interview, I'm in control. Not like with Lynn or with Mari, where I have to wrangle anyone. I can boss you around. Not like a slave. Not like that.
not like that.
I got this new interview style. It's kind of like Charlie Rose and Bill Barr.
Oh yeah, okay.
Like Jiminy Glick, and it's gonna like rattle your cage. It's gonna break the ice, warm you up, put a fire under you. All these different sorts of things. Okay, so this first question, I'm just gonna ask you questions. You just come at it. All right, ready?
I'll come at it. Yeah.
You ready?
Okay.
Okay. Aggressive journalism. Okay, this question's for Mari. Step count.
Step count.
Step count.
No idea. Not even remotely salient of.
Give it a ballpark.
Cogent.
Give it a
Oh, I don't know. Like what's like average fat guy like type of step count? Maybe like
1,000?
Oh god, I don't know, like 6,000, 7.
6,000, 7,000. That's probably good.
Some days I just stay in bed and it's like
yeah, like as few as possible. Okay, so we crowdsource these questions. So this next question is, quote, "Why are you gay, lol?" End quote.
Well, I'm gay mostly because one of the first video games I played was an adventure game called Space Quest 4, Roger Wilco and the Time Rippers.
Oh, yes.
And that may be the gayest fucking game ever designed. And, I guess Dr. Brain is a little gayer, but any of these edutainment fucking games, like, they're dog shit. And basically, like, fucking, oh my god, I hate those games so much. But that's a big part of why I'm gay, right?
That's funny. You're like, what, you're probably, I think you're like, maybe, I'm 35, so you're a little bit older.
I'm 41.
Yeah.
I'm 41. I just turned 41, so yeah.
So you were like the appropriate age in which like the adventure game boom would hit you, but I was just a little bit too young. But what happened was when I finally got like my own laptop when I was like 17 or 18, is like the only things I could get to run on this piece of shit were Scum. You know what I mean? The Scum simulators and stuff like that. And now I don't think I could go back and play what people have sent me, and they're like, "This story is great," but it's just like I have spent so much time, like Sam and Mac. It's just I love them, but I hate them. They're the pieces of shit.
They're fucking dog shit games, man.
Dude,
they're fucking
horrible.
Horrible. Yeah.
I mean,
even the FMV ones like Phantasmagoria were just dog shit. It's just everything about that field.
Full Throttle's really good. You know what I mean? Even though it still has some of that dog shit stuff. Tim Schafer's Full Throttle.
Tim Schafer, Well, I used to play like Willy Beamish, like fucking Space Quest. That just
I never played like the
bottom
Kid's
of the
Quest.
barrel trash.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, bottom of the barrel trash. It's just
Have you seen the people who speed run those games? Speed run King Quest and
I've never seen it. That sounds awful. That sounds like hell.
I'll send you I'll send you a link to our YouTube channel. It does great vids on
Absolutely,
it. Okay.
Cool, yeah.
What favorite Matrix?
Favorite Matrix movie? Probably the first one. Unless you count the Animatrix. The Animatrix is GOAT.
I knew you were going to say that. I knew.
What else would I say?
Every motherfucker says it. They go, "Oh, favorite Matrix? The anime, of course."
But no, I'll play along. I'll play along and say the first one just because, they kick each other through walls really good in that one. And man, it's pretty formative for me as someone of my age category. So
that sex scene in the second one was insanely formative to me. in the nightclub. It was just like I'd never seen. My 10-year-old brain was just like, this is the sexiest thing I've ever seen. I didn't even know there was sexy. It was crazy.
Yeah.
That was the best rave I've ever seen. If Israel was like that, maybe they can, destroy Gaza and stuff, make it like a huge Matrix 2 dance floor. You know what I mean?
Yeah, destroying Gaza for a rave to make it a rave party, I guess would be.
But here's the thing: we've seen the
I
raves.
guess
We've seen the raves they have. They're awful. It's great that the hang gliders fucking drop bombs on them. God damn it! They make the worst.
I was going to say that one was so awful that they had to have guys drop in and make it a party, right? So I mean, that was kind of like bad.
Insane false flag. Insane. So a bunch of guys and like if you can even Google anything about weapons, it's just like guys in hang gliders.
It's Fortnite. It's for the Fortnite generation, right? I mean, did they build the shit too while they were shooting?
I know that's also very funny. That's a funny kind of thing. Real life is just a joke.
Fortnite. Sure, yeah. I mean, everything's a joke, I guess. I mean, it's pretty.
But they show you the footage
crazy.
of the stuff, and it's like the highway to hell. It's just like you're not telling me that Israeli helicopters just throw missiles down indiscriminately on this rave. I mean, that's crazy, which is a great thing to think. Okay, that's funny we're talking about this because the next question is war. Yes or no, good or bad?
No and bad, I think. If for all realsies, I think
fair.
Very bad.
That's fair.
Yeah, I don't like war. I'm the type of person to be against World War II if I were alive during that time. Every war, like fuck war, like fuck everything, like fuck anything to do with that. You ask me to do anything, go to war, fuck you.
That's the one war people are like, you should be
right. It's like, it should be justified, right? But no, I would have been like, no. I've been Neville Chamberlain, like, fuck you.
Let Germany
let them have it.
Let Germany do what they're doing. You know what I mean?
Pretty much, man.
The Germans did have a particular view on black people. They didn't quite know what to make about them. They didn't know if they were like magical or they were dirt. Same thing with
Jesse Owens allegedly. Hitler shook his hand or something. I don't know, but
they tried to ally with the Chinese, right? And the Chinese turned them down, and so they were like, I guess the Chinese aren't like the Asian master race, so the Japanese. So I imagine
the Japanese,
but I don't know who they would do that for with black people. I don't know. There's not.
Oh enough. I mean, there were people like. When they conquered like parts of Africa, I guess there's all those pictures of the African dudes wearing the SS uniforms.
This shit's wild. Okay. Oh man, we always get off track. Okay. Next question: sagging on God mode or a swagged out king?
Oh boy. I mean, I'm a fan of God mode, just because like God mode, but I'd say God mode definitely.
Okay, sagging on God mode. I feel you.
Sagging on God mode. Yep.
Do you have
no clip would be better. I'm not gonna lie.
Do you have the I remember the Doom like IDKFA, just like the
all weapons. IDDQD was God mode.
Yeah, just like emblazed on in my psyche. Anyway, so okay.
Hell yeah.
N64 or PlayStation?
Oh man. As far as playtime, it's gonna be almost equal for me. Both are close to my heart for different reasons. I'm just gonna go ahead and give it to the N64 because of GoldenEye. Man. Like I would be amiss to not give it. I hate Nintendo. But
I feel you.
I have to give it up for the real niggas here.
I think it would be Resident Evil 2 on Nintendo 64 for me. I just played the fuck out of that, and I guess Ocarina of Time, but I was too young. You know what I mean? 8 or 9.
I played Resident Evil 2 on PlayStation, so that was good there too. But I'd have to give it up for the N64.
It's funny. I got my N64 on Christmas, right? But I was like, I don't know, like maybe 5.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And so my parents were doing this like cute whatever thing of like one present is a controller, one present is a game, and then the last present would be the concert itself. But I was so young and so stupid that by the time we got to the last present, I was just so disenfranchised and was crying. It's like, I'm not going to get
Where's
the
game? Where's the console?
I guess maybe, and then I did finally get the N64. Not a great console, but some great games on it. But not a
some very good games, and I think as a piece of technology. Like I think it was like kind of ahead of its time, but in a bunch of weird ways because all the peripherals and shit.
Ways. It's almost it's almost like that turn of the 2010s, like Apple versus PC kind of thing, where it's like PC, and it's like an Apple is like a hot rod that's simple. You know what I mean? To use.
That's true. Yeah, it is like that. Yeah, it is a little bit Apple feeling.
Yeah, and so, yeah. But what a decision!
I guess
those
you're
those cartridges, they did not predict how much data could go in a game. But they did some miracles, especially Resident Evil 2. The way that shit's compressed. Ooh.
Nintendo's programmers did some insane things they shouldn't have been able to do, and I still think it's because of some kind of ancient samurai bloodline thing or some bullshit.
Bushido.
Like I'm not
Definitely Bushido.
Bushido, yeah, the code of the samurai.
No labor laws.
Oh, also that. Yeah, that's actually fair. Yeah, I mean, they just work for 70 hours like a week or whatever. So
if you talk about a union, they try and make you do seppuku, is what I hear.
Yeah,
in Japan.
They'll cut you in half with a samurai sword. That's how it works. I mean, that's fucking the way it goes.
I can't imagine that. That seems like the worst kind of way. Like I couldn't even. People like cutting themselves seems like it's like, how could you? I can't,
right?
Like the
disemboweling yourself. Fuck that.
Maybe I just have a vivid imagination. It's just like you can imagine the cutting. Not good.
It would be awful, yeah. But having to kill yourself that way would be awful.
Yeah, because the blade,
the blade, yeah.
Just imagine it's slow motion.
Right. Oh god, yeah. And you have to disembowel cut your stomach apart. Oh god, it's awful.
Not good.
Not good at all.
Okay. Great guys, Japanese. I was thinking the other, because maybe one of these YouTubers did a video about Phil Fish, and I was thinking about his infamous kind of statement about like Japanese, game developers, and I was just thinking like, what a fucking untapped in loser. It's just like if
he's a retard.
But it's like he makes a point for like at least like what comes over here, you know what I mean? And maybe that's just a message of what they think of Americans. We just get the message.
It could be. I'd expect it to be mirrored by a lot of Japanese developers. So fucking American developers, like fuck them and shit. And except they're right though, mostly. They're right because they're talking about guys like Phil Fish or like some of these other retards. So I don't know, like
that was still an inspirational movie. I remember that indie game.
It was fun and it got people talking. Actually, a better movie than that is it's the Super Columbine Massacre guy. Danny LaDunne did one. I believe it's called Playing Columbine. It's a documentary about him making Playing Columbine. But he interviews he's got these great set of interviews of indie game designers that aren't Phil Fish. I mean, he does, I think, have Phil Fish on there for a minute. But he, like Chris Crawford and like Jason Rohr, a bunch of people who were actually did real shit, didn't just talk shit, but, actually had game,
and you have all the swaths of Newgrounds that was also happening at the time,
Yeah.
But I guess it took like some really pretentious, I guess with like any kind of art, you need like wealthy white guys who are pretentious to kind of pierce through, fair. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they got to break. They're the first wave. Let's go. More bugs to kill, right?
Not that I guess it really... Having a computer early on, especially in like 2000, was like a big feat. You know what I mean?
It was, yeah.
Anyway, we'll talk about that later. I got to get through these questions.
Sure.
Biggie, Biggie or Tupac?
Biggie, definitely.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so we have two more questions. So this question is specifically from me. At what rank in League of Legends do you unlock getting a wife and getting married and having a family? Just a little gentle ripping. Okay, this last question, I would be remiss if I didn't ask this. Where do all your ideas come from? I
Yeah.
think David's saying Wesley Willis is bad. He sucks. All right.
No
Don't-
way. Oh
don't-
no, are we?
Don't
no,
say him
nigga,
in
are
the
we?
same name as. It's like people go. Well, that's the thing. People
Wait, so-
go. They go like Daniel Johnston. They always go Daniel Johnston and Wesley Willis, and it's like, okay,
Yeah.
one of these guys wrote like really heartbreaking love songs and stuff, and the other guy talks about Spider-Man whipping a guy with a hose, which is great, which is funny.
I love it.
I'll always remember that. But come on,
See,
to speak it.
now-
That seems
now we-
insulting to be.
Now we
to
might
be-
have a clash because I believe that Wesley Willis is actually better than Daniel Johnston, and I don't really.
I think you're just being. This leads perfectly into my intro. blurb,
Excellent.
Which I was gonna. It was going to be a gentle ribbing, but maybe now it is pointed insulting.
Yeah. Oh no, we done did it.
If I was to describe offhand to someone within our sphere
Sure.
what your poetry is like, I would say it is sort of like an edgelord Nate Dugan. And that could be but I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. But if I could
I don't either.
shorthand-
No, that's actually pretty. Yeah, good shorthand. Yeah.
very old internet feeling to me, oppressively cynical, a sort of glee.
Yes, nihilistic. Even I'd say. Yeah.
A sort of glee and disgust.
Check. Yeah.
And I don't want to say in the absurd because of all the baggage that has, but that's just the right word.
You can
for
say
it.
in the absurd. I think it's true. Yeah. No, I think I would describe my own work as absurd. Yeah.
Or I would say reveling in the absurd. That's what.
Yes. Yep.
But like I said, I don't want to use.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
didn't want to use it because it sounds so gay to be like you're just reveling in the absurd. But literally,
No, so far so good.
like
so far, I agree.
literally the absurd of like, why are these things like this way? Often really
Yes.
abrasive and seems more interested in not quite unsettling, but prodding at a vile thing and giggling of trying to get you to look
Yes.
at the dead cat that is
Yes.
been hit on the car, hit on the street.
Yeah.
That was my little intro blurb.
Cool. Yeah.
I thought it was all right.
I think you did
could
good
put
there.
that on if you ever do a second print, and you put that on there.
Prodding at the dead cat and making. Yeah. I mean, sure. Yeah.
So, I guess this is actually the last question. I bet that
Mhm.
I do an indent system. You don't need to know about my system of notes, but there's an indent system at one awry. This is actually the last question.
Sure.
What's your bio? Do your bio. When they say
My bio.
send your bio, you do
Okay.
it. When you can do it off the dome, you can pull it up if you want. Do your bio, and then that'll let people, speak your. You can modify it. You can pop off with it. You know what
No,
I mean?
am I to speak my truth? Is that the idea?
You
or-
could do that. You could lie even. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter. It's your bio. If you're making your bio right now, you're trying to shine. Go
Yeah.
Rudy.
Okay,
Oh.
so I'm just gonna do it totally randomly. I have a random generator to do this. So Rudy, pronouns it, fair, as in FAER, is a
Oh,
white on the
man.
phone
Okay.
hick from Malone, New York, who designs games, writes poetry, and gets destroyed by 14-year-olds on League of Legends. It do be collecting a disability check and working with friend William, maintaining Misery Tourism, a site that houses works of outsider art.
I think we need to address the elephant in the room.
Mhm.
It's very funny. Audience out there, you don't know this, but Rudy and I deeply know this, unfortunately. Or not, it's funny now. But so this podcast itself was one third, a solid 1/3 started as some kind of act of revenge against people who had wronged someone, almost a part of a harassment campaign, almost a response to haters, which I came up with that name, Response Pod. That's why I can still.
Response Pod,
That's why
yeah.
I got to keep it because of Response Pod. And so here's what I got to say. So I'm a shooter. All right. I'm a soldier. If I'm with you, I'm with you. Okay. And I didn't do anything. But I didn't stop as much as I probably should because it was very funny. This whole for the campaign, cyber-spawking campaign against, well, it doesn't matter. But it is funny because she gave me, and we've talked about this before, you and I, Rudy, but I guess this is for the audience.
Sure. Sure.
When she was saying disabled, she said that, and for some reason we just got it into our head that you were, and she didn't correct us, but that you were like in a wheelchair or maybe like a Stephen Hawking kind of thing. Or my favorite one, was like William is carrying you like Death Stranding. You know what I mean? And I don't know. You see, she hates your black ass. You know what I mean?
Nice. Hell yeah.
But yes, I guess I'm not apologizing. But I didn't do anything.
You don't. Yeah. Oh, fair. Yeah. But the Death Stranding thing is actually really funny. I'm glad you told me that. That's really funny. Yeah, I wish I was a Stephen Hawking-esque villain or something like that. I've always wanted to be a villain. I mean, I guess I am technically a disabled villain, but I wish I was like that kind of disabled villain. With like a chair that shoots rocket launcher, stuff or whatever. I don't know. Be cool. A combat wheelchair, as they say in Dungeons and Dragons.
Combat wheelchair. Yeah, all brass. Yeah. All brass wheelchair.
It's got to be brass. It's like that guy in fucking what we talked about in, the Will Smith movie there.
He was awesome, though. He was just cool. He was so fucking cool. Yeah.
He was a Confederate. He's like a former Confederate, like, colonel or some shit.
And apparently a genius, dude. He made this whole fucking spider.
Yeah, but it's like, if he had that, why didn't he use it to help the South win the fucking war? They probably called him, like, retarded or
I think it was
something.
afterwards.
Oh, okay.
Or, I don't know. I haven't watched it in a while, but that makes the most sense to me.
Yeah.
I don't know. But that brings, that's a good segue. Or a while back, it was a good segue to, you just did our reading series, which people should check out. I don't know if it's a weird thing to call. But one of our inspirations for doing that is because the thing you and William used to do was Misery Loves Company, which it was before my time, and Misery Tourism before that. Which people always pine for. Like I said, I didn't look much into it. I'm sorry, I don't do that stuff. But I thought about there was a space that was vacant from that. At least other people felt that way. I felt that way, even though I wasn't there for it. And so it seems so fitting to have you do the first one. And thank you so much for doing that. It was definitely, I think, one of it was great. I think it was very upsetting.
I'd just say the little edits that you did on that were really good and punched it up a lot. So thank you for the edits. No, it was really good, especially the cell. Well, I won't ruin it. I guess I shouldn't ruin the thing here. Yeah, but no, the part you put in it towards the end, like moi, Chef's Kiss.
I've always wanted to do like sound engineering stuff because and that was just like a nice little kind of thing. And I would like that a collaborative effort, or people. I want people to do whatever they want with the space. I guess that's like with our little billboard things, which won't be in this episode.
Yeah,
I didn't ask for any.
Oh yeah.
But that kind of space. But so
definitely.
We're talking too much about myself, of course. So Misery Tourism and Misery Loves Company. Give me like some brief interviews to anybody who doesn't know. Give me stuff, pump it up to anything you got to say about this. This is my interview style. I'm sorry. I switched from the Bill Maher thing, and now we're going vague as possible.
Yeah. Misery Tourism is our site that we post, little art pieces, outsider art, if you want to call it that, or whatever. But basically, other people would send us shit, and we'd put it up. I guess it's a lit mag. I don't know if I like the term lit mag or whatever. I don't know. I guess it's a lit mag, right? So
all this stuff sucks.
It's all internet art. I think it's an internet art site.
Websites. Go back to calling them websites. And apps should be programs.
Apps, yes, I agree with that one wholeheartedly.
Dude, why did it all become apps? It seemed overnight. It seemed that everything was apps.
I don't know.
Overnight.
It's because of Apple, honestly. I blame Steve Jobs.
Dude, it's retarded. We're not even going to get started on that one. Anyway, sorry. Go ahead.
But no, Misery Tourism actually started out as a site. Me and William had put like our little games and stuff up, but that didn't really take off, mostly because of the RPG community. The tabletop RPG community is full of people I wouldn't spit on if they were on fucking fire. Just
Oh,
the worst.
so were
type
they
of-
like they were like pen and paper kind of rulebook kind of stuff?
Yeah, something like that. But
That's
eventually,
awesome.
eventually
That's
it
awesome.
transitioned, mostly with Williams' direction, transitioned to a more like lit maggy type of thing. And I think that's
Mhm,
good
mhm.
because, man, if we had stayed in RPGs, like I would probably have killed myself, honestly, because fucking like fuck those people, like honestly. But
Yeah.
no, like so, yeah, we post art, literature, just poetry, prose,
Mhm.
that kind of stuff, and really on the off kilter, off color type of weird shit, that we didn't stuff the way I would describe it for me, and I'm not going to speak for William, but it's stuff that when I was going through looking, editing it and looking for pieces to accept, basically I'm looking for things I want to read or I want to see that I
Mhm.
don't see other places, and that just I
Mhm.
want to, if I read it and like it, I'm going to post it up there. And that's why, like when we did like rejections and stuff like that, we always used to do a form one that said like, hey, it's just our taste. It's not like this isn't a pass or
Good.
fail type of thing. That's why we always,
Rejections, I think, are important. People
yes,
don't do rejections.
yeah, yeah. But it's
Um,
not like it's not a reflection on the people,
yeah,
involved.
sort
Right?
of
It's just
like
yeah.
would it be accurate to be like sort of like don't submit with maybe a slightly higher bar, that kind of stuff, because don't submit
I
is
don't know about a
pretty.
higher bar. I don't know what the bar really is, if not our own taste. That's what William and I used to say. It's just our own indefensible taste, to be specific. But yeah,
You get every ranging a spectrum of everything from don't submit, which I think is a great.
the spectrum. Yeah, yeah. I like that. I love Don't Submit. Don't Submit is a great
Mhm.
outlet, and I've submitted a
No,
bunch of
I
stuff to
agree.
Don't Submit, even though they say don't. But no,
That's why that's really why I bring it up. So much a very similar philosophy. Yeah.
yeah, no. Don't Submit is fucking awesome. I love those guys, and yeah. But Misery Loves Company was
Mhm,
basically
mhm.
Williams' thing, and I was there doing like some of the promotional stuff and some of the like just helping with it. But it was the thing
Mhm,
where
mhm.
we would basically host every Friday night and just like let people come in and read their shit, read whatever the fuck they wanted.
Yeah.
And I say read, but some people presented video, some people presented video games, mostly just me. But a lot of people would come in and just do anything they wanted. And then after we'd have the after party and have a lot of fun,
Mhm,
just
mhm.
talking with people. And I think it's something that had a good effect on like the community aspect. I mean, I know there's really no community, but
Yeah.
it had a good effect on like you get to see the artists in like their wild environment, in their home or whatever. Because that's what in a lot of ways you want to see. Like you want to like especially in a community that's like so heavy on auto fiction and memoir type stuff. Like I mean, I want to see inside the person too. And in those after parties, a lot of it was very much that. And you see people on camera and stuff. So it's it was good. It was really good. It was like a reading series that we did. So
Yeah, I think also like important to separate the artwork as something else, or I think that's maybe the value of performance is like separating
yeah,
the art from the person.
yeah,
Even though you're performing
nope,
it, you are at least
yep.
internally being like, I am performing this. So even that act, because writing is so personal. Writing is so personal.
You're right. You're 100% right. Yeah. You're right, and I'm glad you highlighted that because I think that's the real strength of the after party there. And then this new thing that Colton has kind of created is kind of like a continuation, like the Madge or whatever the new kind of I call it the new MLC basically, but that type of thing, like where you have that after party and you have
Yeah.
that colloquial space, like people can just kind of hang out and be like, yeah, what the fuck, and because you get to see the people like in themselves as well as in their kind of persona too. It's good.
And it seems like just such a much more low stakes and comfortable thing, because it's essential. I mean, yes, it's a pale imitation to what they're doing in New York or what they're doing
Yep.
in LA, where they can go to readings, but it's like we can't do that. You know what I mean? We're in different parts of the world. But it is the nice effect of that is it's like it's so much more seemingly
Sure, yeah.
low stakes. You know what I mean? There's not whatever crazy stuff.
I actually don't think it's a pale imitation of the New York scene. I think it's actually better. I'm even gonna say like I think it's much better than what they're doing there. I'm not gonna say like authentic or whatever, but it's like it's definitely like much more like the dichotomy, like you said, between like the performance aspect and seeing the people, like because when you're in one of those scenes in like New York or where like that persona never really drops. I feel, and this goes for any like reading in real life. I feel like that persona never actually drops off because you're trying to impress people. You're there like trying to make connections as that persona. So there's no like split between it. It's just you have to. Like you either have to be yourself all the time, or you have to be like in the work all the time. You know what I mean? So I don't think there's that. You get that split. That's something I think in any physical reading you don't get as much of that split. And I think that split is actually something that's good for the work and the artist. I mean, it's good to be able to have your art and then have the artist too. And be yourself or be whatever the fuck you want to be. But to have that split and to see it is actually something that makes a lot of sense. So.
That was a thread when I was interviewing Chloe Wheeler that we were kind of pulling upon, where it's just like when you're performing something, especially in like say her scenario, which is all these whatever bars and stuff, where it's a public performance. It's like what plays in a performance, and also the value of a performer doesn't necessarily play on the page. And the kind of balance before that. And I think we kind of have like a weird kind of push where it's like
that's right,
because it's like New York or wherever other place, it's like it's going to push culture and that kind of or whatever little micro bubble of culture we have here. And that so
I think the anonymity or whatever the internet actually helps allow that persona switching type of thing. I think it
I guess when I said like pale imitation, I just meant, although your persona switching thing is like spot on, genius. I had not thought about that, but I guess the pale imitation thing I meant is like, the inherent, I guess just paleness of like interacting with people online as opposed to, interacting face to face. I mean,
there is something lost there. I think, you're right.
Yeah, no matter what, and we can make a million kind of philosophical kind of things in our brains, but we can't stop ourselves from like feeling that. And I'm not saying any of that is like cope, because, but I also think cope is the greatest. How do you live without cope? Cope is awesome. If you think that you don't cope, then I don't know, brother. You're gonna see soon.
I love to make a connection. I love to conspire and steal. And I love to write good rock songs, honey. That's all good and real. I was born and I cried. I lived the dirty life and I died on fire. And so slow, but I could get used to this. I used to be friends with rich kids, but all they talked about was me. 'Cause I was looking for a date on the corner, like a foghorn shouting in the breeze. And I'll bake on a cloud, I'll spare the very strength to look down in case you're in tow. But I could get used to this.
When Escape from Tarkov finally releases on Steam, everyone's like, their servers are broken, there's hackers everywhere. And I'm just like, welcome to the party, guys. This is the first time you've been here? I've been playing Tarkov since like 2017. Trust me, it's getting no better. It's also crazy. Escape from Tarkov especially is like, it kind of promotes itself as like an indie game, but it is not an indie company at all. They've raked in millions of dollars. They're definitely getting funded by Russian gun companies and probably the Russian government. All affected. And it's just like some strange anomaly happened that some guy was connected enough or whatever, was able to make like his dream game, and they dumped millions in it. And it ran so shit that we in the community thought that perhaps they had Bitcoin miners on it. That's the only explanation for how this netcode is operating. And you remember when the Steam drops happened for Escape from Tarkov? Not Steam drops, Twitch drops.
Yeah, I remember vaguely. Yeah, there was like some.
That was the weirdest thing of this little community of like maybe 200,000 guys from across the whole globe who are older and really like guns too much and really like looting too much. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And and Tarkov's is pretty much unparalleled. But like then these Twitch drops happened, and suddenly this is the most popular game ever. Like everyone's number one, and you're like, now everyone's looking at us. This is weird, and they really didn't enjoy it for a long time. You know, it's a piece of shit game, and it also hates you. It just spits on you. You know what I mean?
That
But
is a
you
game
love
that
it.
hates
That's
you.
what
I feel
want.
it's very similar to League because it's that type of hate. The game hates you too, and the developers hate the fans and that kind of thing. So, yeah, I think it's actually very similar.
That's the thing. People joke about this now, but Overwatch in 2016 was one of the greatest multiplayer times maybe ever. You know what I mean?
I loved Overwatch. Yeah, I was in the beta for it and bought it, and it was an amazing game.
I was a hardcore, and they ruined it. It's crazy.
They fucked it up right in the ass.
And
yeah.
I feel so old
Yeah.
being like, man, you
Yeah.
should have been there. You should, but you
In
really.
2016, no, it was crazy. Like I don't know.
2017, you know, getting
Yeah.
I was a Lucio.
Oh god,
man.
yeah.
You know what I mean?
Lucio,
But
okay. I used to do Roadhog, so yeah, I know Lucio very well. He was one of the big annoyances.
the Lucio is like every team could benefit from a Lucio.
That's right. Yeah.
Maybe he can't be main healer, but I don't think you need a main healer
No, you don't need to. You don't. No.
because it's the speed boost.
Exactly.
It's like if you can go, you can get to someone fast, and you can get them out of trouble, and that's what.
That's
you can
right.
do. And it me because I don't know, I had like some kind of anxiety or whatever. Just like I just
Yeah.
hated using voice chat. I don't know. I got nervous or something.
I
like
never
that.
use the voice chat. I never, except with my friends and stuff. We'd get on there and.
But I also didn't have any
Yeah.
friends who played the game. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
So it's like I always solo queued. And being Lucio and solo queued is such like an art, because it's like if you pay attention to everyone, even like the diva who's is flanking for no reason, you know what I mean? When they shouldn't be flanking at this point. Like you can go and bail them out of that mistake, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I just,
Yeah. And one thing that's underrated for him is the wall skating, like the ability to skate on the walls, which is stupid as fuck in some levels.
When they changed it around, that you started getting a speed boost every time you did a wall
Yes.
skate. And so what I
Yes.
did was I had right click, space, and I think it was just right click and space set to jump. And so I could just and so I could literally just climb a wall immediately, you know, and I had a really high DPS on my mouse because I don't have a big mouse pad, you know what I mean? But that let me just get anywhere I needed to be. Lucio was just so I love
There's
Lucio.
that level that had the area where it's like basically a circular wall inside. The point was on a circular wall, the last point. And you could just skate around and basically hold that area and bump people out with your right click.
yes.
Yep, that was it was a nightmare to take on a good Lucio in that area.
Oh, what was it? God.
It's the Japanese level. I forget what it was. It had a bunch of pagodas and shit in it. I don't remember what it was called.
Man.
It's been so long since I played Overwatch. It was really good though. Fuck yeah.
It was fun. It was so great. Yeah. You know, I still have some try-hard friends who are playing Overwatch 2, and they say it's awful,
Yeah.
but it's like
It's dog shit.
there's just something captured there that was so good. So good.
yeah.
Anyway. Goddamn. Well,
Goddamn. Ripped Overwatch.
we hope that the audience enjoyed that little
Our little riff on.
two
Yeah.
old guys reminiscing about Overwatch 10 years ago. You would have loved
Better
it,
days.
guys. You
Better days.
humors out there. That was some good times. Okay,
Oh,
so
yeah. I just wanted to.
also, for some reason I missed this. Promote your book. Promote it now.
Okay, Kill Rudy Johnson is a book about killing me, and you should kill me because I'm stupid and a retard. So yeah,
You know,
It's
you know,
poetry. If you like poetry, then you're probably a retard like me. So read it, I guess. Like,
I do like the QR code thing. It's very
oh yeah,
interesting.
yeah,
Even though,
yeah.
okay,
Thank you. Yeah, it's
let's be above. I'm
Mhm.
all approaching this philosophically because I don't do QR codes. I don't think I know how to. I don't know if my Obama phone can actually even do
your
them.
Obama
But
phone
I
should be
love
able
the
to do it. That's one of the
I
gifts
love
Obama gives you, I guess.
yeah, but I love the idea of it,
Mhm.
and I usually and I think most people have like a
Mhm.
hesitance towards anyone who does mixed media kind of
Absolutely,
stuff
yeah.
because it's like you don't have the discipline in one area.
Yeah,
Why
yeah.
do you think? But I think you do a very good job, especially we're not trying to suck each other's dicks, but that reading was like definitely like an experience, and I've seen lots of your different videos and stuff
Okay,
like
yeah,
that.
well,
But
yeah. Yeah, thanks.
I'm getting off topic.
Sure.
But yes, so I didn't do the QR code kind of
Yeah,
things,
yeah.
and also I was going to read your
Mhm.
book because you sent me the
Oh,
nice
yeah, yeah,
PDF.
yep.
And I opened it up a week ago, and it's fucking 250 pages,
Or don't
buddy.
read it all.
You know, and so
That's why it's
I didn't
poetry.
read it at
It's
all.
poetry,
I didn't,
nigga.
you know. And here's
I
the
wouldn't
funny
read it
thing.
all.
We've had this interview planned for like 3 months.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
So I could have read it all in this, and I meant to read it
No,
all
believe
during
me,
this time.
I had
But
no hard feelings.
you know what's more interesting? I
Mhm.
guess if you want to talk about your book, you can do it.
Okay.
You pop off, motherfucker.
Yeah.
But for me, what's more interesting because it seems like everyone's gonna kind of do
Yeah,
that. So
yeah,
I
yeah.
just you think about different topics that we can maybe
Sure.
that make me think about it. Talk about to the person, whatever. And so one
Mhm.
thing, especially with you and Misery Loves
Mhm.
Company, and Misery Tourism.
Sure.
And you and Will's. Well, first off, God, I'm so scattered. You are. I hate to use prolific just because of baggage
Oh,
attached
no,
to it, but
yeah.
you know, you produce, pretty regularly, and maybe I'm wrong, but Will is like your main editor, yeah.
Yeah. Will helped edit the book, Kill Rudy Johnson. Yeah,
Mhm.
and he did like all the editing and stuff. So like, and we went back and forth on a lot of like the digital media stuff. To talk about that, we went back and forth on that.
Mhm.
I talked a little bit about this in Tyler Burns' podcast, the Lo-Fi Lit. But yeah, well,
You can only ever talk about a little bit of something on that podcast.
that was very good. I like.
He interrupts. He interrupts all
He's
the
got some good
time.
questions, though. You
He
gotta
doesn't let
admit,
you
he's got some
finish.
good beats. But no,
He's trying to get you. He's
he
eating
is trying to
I think
catch it. But no, and yeah, he's gotten me. But no, like so, a lot of the digital media stuff we went back and forth on. And there was real like controversy there, real like words exchange and stuff like that. But the book was better for it. And I think like people like to make like a parable or whatever, a point to that if there is one. Like I guess you shouldn't be afraid. Like editing process should be. It
Yeah.
doesn't have to be like crafty difficult. You know what I mean? Like we're saying like we're agonizing over sentence level shit. We're agonizing over like, well, is this paragraph or does this order or whatever? It doesn't have to be like that, but it should be intense. There should have some intensity there, I think, because that I think makes the work overall better. And I think that those real intense conversations that Will and I had about the stuff like helped crystallize it into something that was better. So that's something I'd say, like, don't be afraid of it, even if you're like having your friend or whatever edit it, or whoever you're having edit it. Like, don't be afraid to clash with them, because clashing doesn't mean like. And this is something I had to tell myself a lot, because of my brain, the way my brain works. But like clashing doesn't mean like they don't want they want to shit on it. Basically, clashing means like basically you're clashing on it, and there's always some reason the other person feels the way they do, but it's good for the work regardless, and you don't have to integrate everything. Like I didn't take all of Will's suggestions, but I took a lot of them, and a lot of the actual I guess like the Daikatana stuff, which I won't totally get into because I don't want to take too much time. But like a lot of the crux of the work like came from those clashes, and I think that's something that people should not be afraid to do when they edit it. Like there's all this advice about kill your darlings or don't kill your darlings. Just
Mm-hmm.
but clash over your don't be afraid to fight in front of your darlings, right? Fight in front of your and scare your darlings, if you have to, but don't be afraid to do that. It's good. It's a good thing, and that's what the primary function editing should serve, is to reevaluate and re-examine things. So yeah, I think it's good.
Yeah, the relationship between a writer and their editor is super important, because it's like, this is personal.
Yes,
and
yeah.
we talk a lot about what works and what doesn't work.
Yep.
And I've explained it before, but it's like, really, something that works is like, you have this idea, you got this idea in your brain, all right, and you think that you're expressing that idea, and it's not being expressed to the other person, or not as clearly, or not how you, and then you have to just fucking, either you think that they're too stupid to get it, or that maybe you should change it. You know what I mean? And you can, sometimes they are too stupid. Sometimes you should take those little battles. But it's like that between a good editor is the thing. Because Lynn also edits my work, and funny enough, this is one. The call's going to end soon. And we'll do another call. But one avenue that you and I are linked here is my main editor is also my friend in the shadows, William, who's also named Will. And so, and it's so nice to have someone who tastes you completely. You just trust whatever they're going to say to you. But if you can convince them the other way, or maybe sometimes it's just like you fucking shift a word, this other, it's so delicate. And when we talk,
well, it's a conversation. It's a conversation. That's the whole thing. And but I'm saying you should have those conversations, even if they're tough, because the work is going to be better for it.
It's very mechanical. It is like, it's funny. You guys talked that you talked of you doing pen and paper RPGs, because that's where I have a lot of my background, DMing. And stuff. And so, like, those kind of mechanics is a lot of how it, especially if you're dealing in poetry, you know what I mean? Like one word slotted here, another, it's all very mechanical, and it needs to be apart from you. And I think people get really caught up on self-expression. But it's like, just because you feel better from writing it doesn't mean that you actually expressed yourself, you know what I mean?
Or express yourself in the best way that someone else can get it, And that's not to say that understanding is the big thing, like, because it's not. Even if somebody doesn't understand it, like, they probably got something out of it. But if you want it to be understood, if you want to maximize those feelings, you got to consider what feelings you want to maximize, right, in the other person. Even if that's confusion or whatever it is, you got to consider it. So
I think that's the thing. The main thing is, what are we doing this for? For feeling.
That's right.
We want someone to feel something else. And it seems gay to say it's for feeling. Right?
But it is.
But
I mean,
I guess to make it not so gay is like, but you need to be a mechanic to make that feeling happen. You know what I mean? Writing's like a car, baby. It's like a car. You gotta make it
purr.
So, before the break or whatever, however I edit this in. So we were talking about one thing we have in common is editors named William, very important editors. But another thing we have in common that you don't know, that no one knows except my husband, is, and this is I think an underrated kind of bond. I have a nerdy black friend. Named Carter, and there is a bond that people don't know between a white guy's black friend and being a black guy's white friend, and singular in many ways, in like friend. You know what I mean? The black guy, the white person I like, whatever. That's a very special bond that people glance over, and you have that with your friend. And I've had that in video games as like one kind of connective tissue to that. My friend Carter was, it's a kind of, so like say he'd drink until he passed out, but he was egg grinding in Pokemon, and so he's just like almost, pressing up and down. And when he finally blacks out, you go up and maybe you save the game, or you at least you close the DS so it doesn't die on him. You know what I mean? This kind of bro relationship that happens.
Kind of like a melanated bromance, sort of. In some ways. Yeah.
And so I feel a deep connection to you in this regard as well. Although Carter's doing better than all of us. He's like a lawyer. He got kids. He's like fucking lapping us. We're
my
all
brother,
of us. All three of us are dead, basically.
My brother, I must ask you: do you have the coveted inward pass from Carter?
Of course, almost every black person, and that's a lot of black people. Almost every black person I interact with, they want to give you the pass. I don't do the pass.
Oh yeah.
It's funny.
You don't do the pass. Oh come on.
It's funny you bring this up because I think I was doing inventory. Let's inventory's the wrong word. But I was thinking about, and there's only been 2 times in my whole life in which the N-word has inadvertently flown into my skull like ghost rocket, right? One of those times was with Carter. And the second time we'll see if it comes up.
Nice. Okay.
So it's funny, we were talking about we were playing Escape from Tarkov. And I had basically $1 million kit that I gave for him. Like and I dropped for him, and it was matching kits, even like $1 million, and it was like a kitted out FAL with like fucking jet level 4. It is a lot of work to get. It was a bro kind of thing. All right, and we're playing Interchange, which you noobs out there or whatever, noobs isn't the right word. But Interchange is a mall thing. It's a level. It's just a level. All right, but he thinks that there's a guy there because I don't know, he's fucked up, he's lost track of whatever's happened, and he shoots me in the back of the fucking head. And that was the first time I think ever in my life in which the N-word just flew through my skull. And I told him so, and he was like, "Damn, bro, damn. Taken off guard."
Just to be clear, we're talking about the hard R version of the word.
He understood. Yeah. I don't say the light R except online because it's funny. And I just don't want to be, this is funny. Viewers, no, I always say viewers, listeners, pretend you're viewing. Listeners, before this, Rudy and I talked about like maybe interview topics that I could bring up, and I was thinking it would be funny to maybe ask him about black culture, and then you kind of realized that I live in inner city Detroit. I work at a store. I probably I see more.
I live in Malone, New York, for comparison. Yeah.
I imagine that. Yeah, you've been rural. You know what I mean? Most of your life. What's your background?
Rural area. Yeah, it's rural. Yeah, rural. Yeah, rural North Country, like 99.8% white area. I mean, it's probably a little less than that now, but
I feel you. I lived in I grew up in Appalachia. Carter lived in not even a suburb of Seattle. It was a place called
Okay, yeah.
Sumner, and it was like
Okay.
predominantly. So
Yeah.
what I'm saying is, I see your power. I understand. I understand. I know the battle. Did you get
yeah.
hooked on World of Warcraft as well? Was that your?
Oh fuck no! My first
Oh,
MMO
good,
was
good.
EverQuest One.
Oh my!
I
Oh,
have
because
played
you're
World of
older than
Warcraft.
us. I forget. Ah,
Yeah. So
so millennial.
I have played World of Warcraft. And the big regret I have though is that I didn't get hooked on Ultima Online before. There's a poem in Kill Rudy Johnson where I say, basically, like I'm a faggot. I think I literally say I'm a faggot for not playing UO.
Dude, it seems the mechanics so much more interesting, so much more
It's
involved.
so much better, and better PvP systems
And
too. Or
I hear
PK.
I hear even when WoW first came out, it was like a big controversy of how like streamlined it was.
Yeah.
But from what I hear now,
It's
it's like
vanilla, yeah.
Now I hear it's like unrecognized. That whole
Yeah.
Wizards of the Coast have done kind of the same thing, maybe more woke because they're not owned
With
by
the
like
Dungeons and Dragons,
rape king Bobby Kotick. Every picture of him looks so good. Maybe I'll use that for the episode. Body
No, I
count.
actually,
He's a
I think
billionaire.
this whole like wokeification of Dungeons and Dragons thing is not really like an issue, like because like it's funny.
You can do
like,
anything. You can do.
You can do anything you want. That's the whole point. And like when they came out with that picture, like famously of the, it's like the gay beholder or whatever, presiding over the town, where like all the like two guys kissing and whatever. It's like, man, like hold on a second, like. It's like if you're the GM, like you can do like say homophobic stuff. You want to do whatever you want. Like if you want to do pro homosexual or whatever, you can do whatever you want.
I don't even understand this. Like I feel like I'm looking at like an alien, or I guess I hate to say it, sorry, but I'm looking at a normie. It's like the person's like, wait, you just buy the adventure and then you just read it. You don't make any changes. You just play it straight, like it's a board game. It's like that's weird to me. Like it's a fucking board game.
It's insane to me. Yeah.
And I love
like,
BattleTech. You know what I mean? I love the miniature.
Oh, BattleTech. Okay,
But like a D&D game, it's almost like an intimate. I wish everybody could play D&D, and it's not rule heavy. You only add rules when people are invested and want to express themselves. They think they can handle expressing themselves with the rules, but otherwise, it's like
rules are a layer. I mean, you can add it in layer.
Dude, exactly. That's why my favorite system is basically just AD&D Second Edition. That's what I use. And I know it has all these intricate kind of rules, and I know the text says you have to use the rules, but literally, it's just like if you wrap your head around THAC0, it's just like everything is roll a 10-sided die. I mean, roll a 20-sided or roll a 100-sided, for your skills.
Yep.
And everything else is so flexible. It's incredible,
So I started with 3rd edition, and actually Will was the GM, and Will was a fantastic GM and made some really, really insane campaigns that ran like for years.
Yeah, dude.
We all loved it, and like I've had one that ran for like a really, really long time too. And like the whole thing about D&D is that like it gets more stupid the longer it goes on, right? In some respect, right? If you're playing it to the rules, like epic level shit just breaks the game and becomes totally fucking retarded.
You become gods.
Exactly. Literally, I've had characters like that, yeah.
Lynn's dad has been running a campaign since he was 15, and he's like
no shit
55 now.
Holy shit! Yeah, that's long.
Yeah,
that's a really long.
It's insane. With the same fucking people, his same people from high school. Crazy.
Yeah.
But I think that's a weird. D&D just sits in such a great place. As for just a community storytelling. You know what I mean? Of this kind of and you come up with the things that give the texture of real life. Because the thing about real life is like. You kind of fall into a pitfall as a writer if you're like, oh, this wouldn't happen in real life. This is like,
exactly.
Because it's like things happen in real life, and like most of the time, people don't have any sense to what they're doing. Sometimes it's some kind of weird impulse. Weirder life is like weird and stupid.
Exactly. It's confusing. It's random, very much random.
And you can create such stories in D&D that way. Like one of my rules was I would never if someone made a decision, I wouldn't let them take it back, even if it was like incredibly stupid.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
I'd be
yeah.
like, I don't know
Yeah.
why
You
you
gotta live with
decided
it.
to do
Live
that,
with
but
it.
okay. And then
Yep.
often I would be like, why did you decide to do that? Like, why did your character do that? And then they would have the same way you do when you're writing fiction, at least. It's like, how do I
Yeah.
build this? Why did this character do this thing that I said? Well, because of
Okay,
this
yeah.
and that. You know what I mean? And that's what
Yeah.
happens. And those characters become such. I guess that's why people get really like. Uh, I hate to say normie shit again. I guess. I feel like people also get like just one-shotted by D&D, and they're like, I'm gonna write fan fiction about my guy. This guy is basically like me now, and it's just like
Yeah.
that's weird. It's like Disney. Disney. Oh man, I got a whole different thing. I guess we'll do it right now because we're a part of that generation
Yeah.
in which we're disgusting. We're little treatlers, and you could say
Yep.
generations before that were that, but we're kind of the first one. And
Yeah.
if I can, I was trying to see if I could arrange this in some kind of question, but I don't think I can. So I'm just gonna say my piece of what I think,
Say it.
and then
Say
we
it,
can
brother.
talk about it.
Yeah.
So if you go back to like I think it's 1986, Reagan does this whole thing where we used to have laws regulating whether you could advertise products during children's programming, during cartoons and so we used to have laws
Okay, yeah,
whether
yeah.
we could do that. And in 96, in all of Reagan's deregulations, he did that deregulation. And I think it's very underlooked for why we became selfish treatlers, why we became Disney adults, why we became live, love, laugh people as a culture. I guess millennials, we're now basically the biggest part of the culture. Whatever.
Kind of the commercialization of youth or whatever.
And this is why, and you get the old millennials, the guys who are maybe like a few years older than you, who got like completely, and I don't understand this, but they got completely like devastated by Transformers. Transformers was the coolest thing they'd ever seen. Typically normal guys, and they're just like, I just fucking love Transformers so much, and it's crazy to think. Maybe it was the first time in history, I guess that's it, where it's just like the idea of like, this car is a robot that fights. And that just blew up a kid's brain. And you and I especially lived through the 90s where the advertising was almost even a countercultural kind of thing a lot of the time ironic, radical kind of things that when we got older became part of our like ingrained sense of irony, I think.
Well, let me tell you, like as someone who had Nickelodeon as a kid, let me just say, like, what you're saying is 100% true. But Nickelodeon, it was like magnified because that was a channel where you would sit there for like half an hour long periods and get inundated with the worst, most insane type of shit. It wasn't even really for children. like John Crickfalusi's fucking, Ren and Stimpy or something like that.
Yeah.
And then in between that, it's like chess boxing because you sit there and get punched by fucking this insane shit. And then you have to sit through like commercials with like super soakers, all these toys and shit like that. So what you're saying is actually really true. And I don't know if we're better or worse for it, but it was definitely something that happened on these, especially channels aimed at children, like the Disney Channel, Nickelodeon, that kind of thing. Like,
it might be controversial, I guess. Maybe this is a hot take, but I think that we were probably I'm not an old guy, but we were probably better for it because the way advertising happens now is insidious.
Yeah. It's very insidious. It's invisible almost. Yeah.
I like I said, I hate to be old guys here, but we lived in a time in which advertising could be separated from your life. And I don't think anybody can say, even if you live in the most kind of rural town, you have your cell phone. You know, I think that's one of the biggest things. Well, we'll wrap up the Treatler thing. That's the reason, guys. Wrap it up. We were told toys are awesome, and we just loved toys so much as a little kid, and we built our whole lives around it. And that's really as simple as it is. It's pathetic, but what are you gonna do?
What are you gonna do?
That's really what it is.
True.
You know what I mean?
It is, yeah.
But
and these cartoons and these shows and stuff, like it's hard to like for people who weren't in the '90s or whatever, it's hard to explain how formative
Because
a
you
lot of
get
this shit
yeah,
was.
because the '90s
Like Hey
things could,
Arnold or fucking
I
yeah,
think. Well, I don't want to discredit the
the Disney
aughts.
Afternoon.
Mhm.
Yeah,
I don't
you
want to
know, just
discredit the
stuff.
aughts, but like the
Mhm.
'90s was like a point where counterculture could start. Well, first off, there was a counterculture. Now
Yeah, yeah,
there's
yeah.
like back then, kids, we had something you call a monoculture, and you might think hearing about Taylor Smith and hearing about football, that's monoculture. No, back in the day, monoculture meant that there's like you only have what's on TV, you only have what's on the radio,
Yeah.
and if by some
hmm
divine miracle something from outside of that bubble hit you, you know what I mean? It was
Yeah.
almost like it's weird. It was almost like a come to God kind of moment. You know what I mean? The first time you heard indie music or whatever,
Yeah.
it's all,
Yeah.
and things could break through in that period of time. But
And when they
now,
broke through, it felt like organic, and it felt like
Mhm,
instead of just
mhm.
like, oh, Spotify put this on my list because I listen
Yeah,
to these things or whatever.
because it
Yeah, it
was
was different.
it was a weird thing where corporate culture, where being against being corporate, and against all this stuff was cool. You know what I mean? And sold a lot of
That's
money.
true.
And that's just, I mean, I guess it's weird that people say that the '90s was so full of hope. And it's like maybe if you're looking back onto it, or maybe if you still are like a little kid kind of thing, and you think, oh man, it was so great going to Blockbuster, you know, blah 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 blah. But it's
Yeah.
like, no, it's fucking dark. That's when the Rev died,
The
man.
night is
That's when,
very
and
dark. Yeah.
that the end was nigh, and now we're in the end, brother. I'm sorry. But one thing that we had
Yeah.
was we lived in a time, not even before internet, although that's certainly true.
Mhm.
But we lived in a time where the internet was a place that you go to. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And it's not
Instead
a
of
place.
something you're immersed in, basically. Yeah.
And I was thinking, especially with this is why I asked you to read your story, just like you imagine, which you guys should go read, and then listen to the thing, guys. But because it reminded me so much of mm, well, first off, a lot of the older kind of older internet language, but being used by new kids nowadays, living off these
Yeah.
means, and these kind of real life graper shooters who will put
Oh, okay.
swastikas and will put
Yeah.
alongside Star of David's on their guns, who just like it's like a
Yeah.
meme kind of thing. And I think,
Yeah.
and maybe like I don't want to be a kind of old guy thing, but my analysis of this is that this is what happens when you inherit the micro compressed kind culture, the fractal culture, the infrastructure of the old internet without any of the hope
Mm.
or context. Because back in the day, yes, it was a
Right.
place you went to and you would
Yeah.
let the N word fly. You know what I mean? And that's still
Yeah.
and part of the bad internet that you guys would probably, that you shouldn't go to, but that maybe Rudy and I
Oh,
should
yeah.
go to. Like that was, there was still a disconnect of that kind of thing. It's like this is like shocking because in my real life there's only one kind of way to behave, and we behave that way. You know what I mean? It's just
That's right. Yeah.
and so there was like a context to joke about it. Like if I drop a hard R N word in a comment section on 4chan or something awful,
Yeah. Yeah.
it doesn't mean that hateful. It's I'm putting something into your head like a spell that is like supposed to be the
Yeah.
most hateful thing ever.
Yeah.
And so there's that kind of content. Not to give it to, it's still shitty, but it's like we were kids. What do you want? You know what?
What are you gonna do? Yeah. I mean.
All right, what the fuck do you want? And that was, in hindsight, like basically like an immuno response to this bleed of liberalism and this corporate
Yep.
interests of like this, monoculture. But what happens when you lose that monoculture is, of course,
Yeah.
this tribalism, because there's no other organizable touchstone. But like these guerrilla shooters, they have inherited this infrastructure of the old internet without that kind of context. You know what I mean? And so, of course, I can't imagine looking at a screen since I was 5,
Yeah.
and now we have kids who are 20 who have. It's wild, right?
I think they've also inherited a lot of the anger around some of the subcultural and countercultural stuff without being immersed in that counterculture. Because, like in the '90s, people forget. Like in the '90s, like there were senators, Senator Joseph Lieberman, and like the Tipper Gore crowd, like they were trying to ban video games, right? I mean, essentially, or that's why we have the ESRB and all this other stuff, regulating video games. They were trying to They were trying to basically make us like Australia in that regard. And there was a massive backlash. There was a massive backlash against that. But these kids, they didn't live through. And I say these kids, but not in a derogatory way. But people who are under like 28 or like 30, they didn't live through that, and so they have a lot of the rage and stuff from like 4chan, and so like people who like are kind of trying to ape that rage, I think, for various different reasons, and so I'm not saying it's not genuine, because they have reasons to feel rage and stuff today. I mean, certainly there's always, in every period, there's time to feel reasons to feel rage, but it's like, this is shit that that basically started in our like generational stuff, and like aesthetically, like some of the responses, like the transgressions and stuff like that, especially the like the transgressive art groups, right? I mean, that started in our period, and a lot of that's being continued without understanding, I guess, maybe the context, or like the like when people like to draw shit on their guns and like do like things like for the lols, and also like people forget like that's like late 90s, like early 2000s shit. Like some of these kids weren't even born yet before the context for that existed.
The thing is to like, I guess, have not too much empathy for the shooters, but to just put yourself in your, like, it just seems like the bleakest abyss to be like, my last moments on Earth are going to be these meaningless jokes. You know what I mean? That's the darkest fucking kind of shit.
I mean, like, I can understand, like, I told, in my interview with Doom Guy, I told Doom Guy this, which means I told Claude this, but, like, I can understand, like, that darkness, right? I can understand the whatever, and, it's something, like I said, like, you feel, like, detached from everything, and like I'm saying, like, a lot of that is because, like, the context for many different types of transgressive art, and like people will say, like, well, like it's like an outlet, right? Like transgressive art or outsider or whatever you want to call it, is like an outlet. But many people, I guess today, like younger people, may not have the context to basically feel that outlet. Like they don't feel like they can be part of that, or they don't feel like they can do a lot of that stuff because they weren't. A lot of the art being made is by people like our age, right? Well, in that sphere, I think.
Also, probably the othering, because when we were younger...
Yes,
when we were younger, of course, our MySpace and our Facebook, we understood that us online was, even though we tried to feign whatever sincerity...
It's like a different, compartmentalized part kind of ourselves,
And that othering still happens now, but I think now it's more ambient, it's more self-conscious. Subconscious, and so that seems wild to me. That seems
I think like a lot of the important thing to take out of that is that like someone should just like tell kids or whatever. I don't know really how to say it, but like that transgression, that whatever you feel, you can just like say it. You don't have to like shoot someone or whatever. Like, I mean, that sounds really cliched or whatever, but like you don't have to turn that into something else. Like it can exist as part of you, and you can still have the part where like you just basically love your parents or like go to work or do whatever. You could like be two separate things. You can separate yourself.
Yeah, it's like, how could you not? I think it's no.
Yeah, but many people don't know that. Yeah, I mean, many people don't.
That's the thing. I think we're just really encouraged to not kind of sit with ourselves in any kind of capacity. And this is always people have always complained about this, but this is like more than ever. And like,
and as someone who kind of like hates themselves, or has been through periods definitely where I hate myself a lot.
Of course,
I understand that, not wanting to sit but with yourself because it's too painful. And in a lot of cases, I understand that. It's just that like you need, like, I don't think you need to learn to love yourself at all. I think people just need to learn to express themselves, and that you can express like basically multiple different parts of yourself. You can express multiple different things even at the same time, or even like you can hold opinions and like hold other opinions that are even contradictory to that. Like especially in works of art. And art does not have to make art does not have to make a statement. It doesn't have to be you or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like it doesn't have to be like it doesn't have to be a holistic. The idea like holistic art or art that's like unified in some way or like clean or like kind of like elegant in its expression of these things. I think people should just be encouraged to express messy things that are disjointed and dissonant. You know, if you
good
have
that
to.
you have an editor. Then it's good that you have. I completely disagree with you. No, it's a big enough. It's an arena. That's what I say. It's a big enough.
It's an arena. That's
you know what
a good
I mean?
point.
All
yeah.
of these things should be embraced and should be
Yep.
whatever. I think one of the most important things is intention and thinking about what you're doing. And I think maybe these.
Yeah.
Of course, how could you not live today and not be filled with hate and misery if you're paying attention to anything? But you need to kind of know what your targets are, or you need to learn to get rid of those feelings. I also think that they don't have enough shame attached to gaming, because I've been a lifelong gamer. It is a useless thing. Everything we've come up with is cope. It is mostly cope. You know, when
it's a lot of cope. Yeah.
Well, there's some games where. Well, I guess we're not doing another call, so let's just jump into it right now. You and I agree on the. See, this is why I guess it's just fun. Like we were talking about before, when you're writing, you think you're expressing an idea, but you don't actually know. I had a much smarter, much smarter friend of mine once tell me that thinking is saying what you are. Saying your thought to another person. It is that communication thing.
Yeah.
That is what thinking is. Otherwise,
that's a good point.
And I thought that was a nice little thing. But so this kind of talking back, because I'm a very controlled kind of guy as far as what I release. But in my private all the edits and stuff I do, it's like a million kind of different things. So I think there's that common thread there, and we talked about video game mechanics and writing, especially you as a poet and me, a very tedious fiction writer. One example that comes to mind is like, so think of Gears of War, game mechanics and writing, how they are the same. Because they're made up of little parts that either work or they don't. And sometimes timing, sometimes honestly, writing is the best thing because it puts I've said it a million times, but it's like a spell. It's like magic. It puts what you're saying into someone's head. You can you're literally putting something. It's like, what is that besides being like magic or telepathic or whatever? But so Gears of War. In Gears of War, if you're listening to this podcast, I'm sure you've played Gears of War, but if you haven't, so take for example the roadie run into snapping to cover. And so that little half second between like snapping there, just that little draw between pressing the button, seeing your guy to go there, and then slam in satisfactory. That wouldn't feel as good if it was
the juice, basically. You're talking about the juice of it,
Yeah, and that heft.
Game feel.
You know what I mean? That is a game feel kind of thing. And how and the best games as truly art, not just games that are art because they have a great story or because they look visually thing, but games as art as in they could not work any other way besides art, because games and reading are the same, right? You are the person. That is your brain. You're in someone else's brain, but you are the guy. Everything's happening with you. It's just expressed physically instead of mentally, right?
Yeah, I think I agree with that. Yeah.
And so like that kind of the best games, like Dark Souls is a great example, and that's just and that's literally just pasted together through like lore, just through good writing. Good writing, it being like the reason you reset every time is because like your name, this just happens. You always come alive. You're in this cycle. All these little things.
It's just something you accept. You come to accept it as the form. Yeah, and that is kind of similar to writing, I guess. Yeah, like people accept like the premises of like fiction and stuff. And
So how do you? I'm really bad at this. I'm sorry.
No, I understand what you're
I'm really
saying.
bad at asking questions, but how do you feel about that? What do you have? Do you have anything to say about that? The Bill Maher guy's back. Do you have anything to say about that? What I said?
Yeah, so like writing and like I guess like writing has mechanics too. I guess you know you have like say like literary devices or whatever, just to be cliched. I mean, you have things like that. They're just understood as tools for writing. But like writing can take a lot from games too, I think, and I think games can take a lot maybe from writing or what. I don't know. You know, these art forms can mix, and
there's some
it's
slop
fine
in
when
there.
they mix.
Yeah.
There's a lot of slop. Yeah, but it's fine when they mix, and to take to play off something you were saying, like basically the interplay between like basically art forms, right? I think to take any art form is just like just use the tools, the conventional tools of that art form is a mistake. You know, like a lot of games use narrative and stuff to some effect. You know, as much as I hate to admit that, because I really don't like narrative games. I fucking hate most of the like. You know, even Gears of War, the story is like a little bit too much for me. But the Naughty Dog shit, you know, like Last of Us, I just can't like no.
I'll stand by Last of Us, but that's funny. Like so much, especially in the '90s and 2000s, like mechanics were like you would accept some fucking and if you were smart enough, you would understand camp. You know what I mean? And understand. This is fucking. But I remember being ashamed for like all of my teenage years because no one ever explained camp to me. Where I was like, these games are stupid. This story is dumb.
This story is dumb. Yeah,
and then realizing like, man, this is so dumb. That's awesome.
Yeah, exactly.
Anyway,
and that's why I think for a long time games weren't accepted as like art or whatever. And I don't care if they are or not. But the thing is, what I'm saying is that like to use just the tools, the accepted tools of the art form that you're working in is kind of a mistake. You should be like, if you like to say like, oh yeah, this is a piece of literature only, right? Or this is and it's only inspired by other literature. That like, I know there's a lot of purists that would say, well, that's like, if it's not that, then what is it or what? But I mean, like, you have to be ready to pull other things in there if you want to make something interesting, like today anyway, in this time. I think
definitely
you have to be ready to pull, and that's why I like when in my personal work and stuff. I know this is just personal stylistic choice or whatever. I pull, you know, things from games and from, you know, like programming and stuff like that. And I think most people do this, but I think it's not as accepted as it should be. Like, I mean, at least like people don't talk about it. They're like, oh, well, if you're like making references to games and like literature, like what's the point? Like, why would you do that? You know, most of your audience, you got to think of audience first. But it's like you have to use the people should be using other tools, you know, that make sense for the framing, right? For the framing of whatever you're doing. You should use things that aren't just in the medium that you're working in.
And those references are used for like there's weight behind like for like a story I'd written. There's weight beyond like a bunch of these VR models all being Seth Roth. You know what I mean?
Yes,
exactly. It is more than just, and if you're not into it, that's fine. But that's
fine. Yeah, I mean,
you know how I don't. It's not so much different than like, oh, I don't know what this word is. I'm gonna go look it up. Why wouldn't you just do that? And
why wouldn't you just go? You know, that's something that we definitely agree on, because it's like, well, we don't. Because I've spent a lot of time, like as editor of a literary magazine, like looking up shit about, like, say, you know, fucking, you know, Emily Dickinson, or like fucking, you know, or reference I don't understand, a literary shit I don't understand. So it's like, yeah, you can use Google, nigga. Like, I don't know, like, you can Google like a video game, like, and you know, and actually in Kill Rudy Johnson, that's why I specifically capitalize only things that are relevant to the game or the game mechanics, or say, so people can have the easy time of fucking looking it up. That's why it's capitalized. Just go look it up. You know, you're absolutely right.
I guess I gotta go do this. You should release a browser version so I can put it on Steam. I'll give you money.
Well, there is a PDF. I mean, there's a PDF.
But I gotta use these QR codes. I don't even know what the fuck that is. It's just a bunch of
you
stuff.
don't. No. It's just like the words are capitalized. I mean, pretty much in the text. That's what I mean.
So I click on it and then I can play the game?
No, you don't have to click on it. You just wiki it or whatever. I mean, I guess if you were reading in a PDF, you could like highlight it and just
How do
go
I play
there,
your games is what I'm trying to get. Where's the games in the book?
Fair.
I heard there were games in it.
Oh yeah, you gotta scan a QR code, nigga. Yeah, that's
Man,
what
don't
it is.
do
but-
that. Give me the Steam code. Give me a Steam key.
I mean, I could link it to you. I mean, I could give you a link, but no, I see what you're saying. But no, like I said, like the idea of
think it has
merging
to play.
mediums and stuff.
Yeah.
It has to play. Yeah,
You can do the things, but the mechanics have to make it work. Because what
It
do
has
you
to make it work. Yep.
You're making
exactly,
an
yep.
image. You're making an image, or you're making a feeling, or you're making a concept in someone's brain.
It is like a spell. Yeah, right. Yeah,
that-
it is like,
and that is
an
mostly-
incantation.
And unfortunately, I mean, not unfortunate, but it's like that's mostly unconscious. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's the magic of writing. That's the magic of poetry. That's the magic of thinking.
Any art form, yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Any
Yeah.
art form. It is.
Yep.
It is a craft. All right. You need to learn
Yeah,
how to
no.
oil paint, baby.
The craft is in like the craft from 1990 whatever, the film with the women in it, the witchy women.
Dude, them some hot bitches. Damn.
They were, yeah.
You
Neb
know what I
Campbell was
mean?
in that, wasn't she? She's pretty fucking
Yeah, and
hot.
also the Nazi. She was hotter in American History X, but like the Nazi.
Yeah,
girl,
that's fair. Yeah.
she was crazy hot in that. That was my first like. And you see, because she looks like a boy, that was my first like indicators of being like, whoa,
Oh yeah.
this girl looks like a boy, but she's sexy. What happened? You know, this is a great way to end the pod. Okay, so we only have 3 minutes left. I wanted to wrap up some of these things. Two things. We'll just run by these fast.
Yeah.
Were you trolling us with your descriptions for your reading thing? Because it was all African texts, and it was all, and I thought like, this guy, this is our first black guy, and he wants his reading to be like a war child, a child soldier, and like crying around. What is this? You know?
Oh
so
no,
are
no.
you trolling?
So first of all, the M, I think it was the person who did the artwork for it did a really bang up job.
Yeah, great.
But no, I gave them a what do you call it, a mood board? Is that what the kids call it? And yeah, I mean these
Or
are
a
just things I think
Pinterest?
about. I wasn't a Pinterest. Yeah, I wasn't trolling. These are just things they asked me for basically like a little mini thing about like how my style or my aesthetic.
That's just so funny. I thought you were trying to
Yeah.
troll me.
No, it's actually that's my aesthetic. Yeah, they
This
asked me what the
fucking
aesthetic
nigga's
was. And I was
trying
like,
to
yeah.
make me do African font.
Oh, he said it. He said it, boys.
I said
Oh,
it.
shit.
I can
He
edit.
said,
You know,
hell yeah! Don't edit it, please. Don't.
two other jokes we were having fun with was whether it would be funny to add the fire alarm chirp through the whole episode. with the
That would be
contribution.
good. Oh, that would have been good. But
We're
no,
not
I mean,
gonna-
I like
we're
what
not
you
gonna do
did
it,
with
but-
yeah.
but it's funny to
Yeah,
talk
I like.
about.
What, I was gonna say I like what you did with the the episode there, the reading there. That was cool.
Good.
The fire alarm chirp for the it would be funny. No, okay.
It's real. It's
It's real, nigga. It's real.
I don't
Oh,
have
yeah.
enough time to get into it right now.
Sure.
But I was also thinking, and maybe I'll cut this out. It would be a funny way to end the episode where I just say, because I can't say it. I can't say it. Can you?
Okay.
Can you say the word?
What word? What
Can
word?
Can you say the word?
Let's say it together. Let's say it together.
I'm not gonna say it, but I'll pretend.
Come
I
on,
will.
3, 2, 1.
The night we met, I knew I needed you so. And if I had the chance, I'd never let you go. So won't you say you love me? I'll make you so proud of me. We'll make them turn their head every place we go.
thank you so much, Rudy, everyone here. This has been a different kind of David Radio episode. They've all been really different. There's some unity, but check it out. It's been fun, and thank you for being here. It's really nice to kind of clean the closet out here. I would like to bring Response Pod back, but there's different issues with that. So I'm not going to get into that. Now, I wanted to do a follow-up kind of interview thing, but my headphones are broken. They're not working. I've been listening to this on a cell phone. I've been listening back just like you guys. No, hopefully you respect us enough to put on some earbuds at least. I'd prefer the wrap around with the phone. But so, what I'll do is I'll do the sign off then, and then I'll play a song I've been listening to over and over again, because this is still a radio show. Thank you guys so much, and sign off. Here we go. This is David Radio, broadcasting live from Hitsville, USA, 2 blocks from the Motown Museum, 2 blocks from Aretha Franklin's childhood home. Signing off. Alright, good night. Recording stopping. Thanks, guys.